Hi, welcome to Welcome Inked Pub. Today we have Racquel Sims who's going to tell us a little bit about herself, and then we got some questions for her. Raquel,
Thank you, Kevin. Hi, everyone. My name is Racquel Sims. I am an Oklahomian. I live in Tulsa, Oklahoma, where I teach fourth grade while also being an adjunct English instructor at our local community college in Tulsa, where I love to travel. I write books. Fantasy is the genre for me, and I'm so excited to be here.
thank you. I appreciate you coming out tonight. We had a fun time making the connection, but we definitely got on it.
Mhm.
So now I obviously know you from short stories, which I love. Um, and you even mentioned, there was a short story you did caught me as being, I really want to see this as a novel because we had a little romance going on there.
Yeah.
Um, or at least, something.
Some
And
stuff.
I was like, oh, I can see this one. I love to ship. So if this was like, oh, easy one, she pointed it to me. So what are you working on right now? What projects you got going on?
Well, actually, right now I'm working on two different projects. So the first one is The Thieves of Marcier. I'm expanding that world and following the three sisters. Yes, I'm so excited. Following the three sisters, and now it's more so the aftermath of that Kareem is in power and what the result of the heist was, and getting the prince out, and now they have to deal with the consequences because it's not at all what they thought it was going to be. So that's become a whole new novel, and I've been working with them, diving into the world of Marcier. So it's been a great time. And then before I was even writing this, I started writing a historical fiction novel. It's more like, imagine like Medici meets Bridgerton vibes.
Okay.
It's going to be about it's called House of Sparrows. And it's following Nova Lee, who's a young heiress, where there's these families of founding families of Rosemore, and they have a high council where they are basically just controlling the entire city. But there's one person who's sworn to take down the House of Sparrows, and the council, and to be able to kind of figure out who it is before all these murders start piling up. So it's kind of a lot of mystery in it as well too, because they're quickly coming for Nova's family. So she's trying to put a stop to that while trying to navigate the world of opulence and decadence in the founding families' lives. So a little bit of historical fiction is set more so in the 14th century. So I'm really excited for that one.
Now, do you have a setting for a place for that, like a location, or is the location sort of conglomeration of different stuff?
For Rosemore, I got the inspiration from Florence, Italy. So
Okay.
it's heavily influenced by Florence, Italy. And that's, I don't know if it's on Netflix. It's one of my favorite shows, but it's the Magnificent Medici, it's about the Medici family. I've always been so obsessed with them.
Okay.
And so I kind of pulled a lot of like lore from them and started building. And then of course Rosemore is just where the fantasy starts coming in, or the fiction side of it starts coming in. So, but it is heavily inspired by Florence, Italy, whereas The Thieves of Marcier is heavily inspired by Cairo, Egypt. So I do love to take real places and then just explode them with fantastical imagination.
Nice, nice. And definitely that Thieves is going to be fun. Sounds like both are actually great projects.
Yeah.
Um, Now it sounds almost like romantasy.
The Thieves of Marcier or House of Rosemore?
Actually, both came a little close.
Yeah. I think both really kind of are. I know that The Thieves of Marcier is definitely going to be more of a
Yeah.
romantasy. I would like to lean more into historical fiction, but every time I try and write, it just starts getting into more of like the fantasy and then the romance. But if it's a very slight fantasy, if it would be, I would say more like historical fiction romance, and the fantasy part is that Rosemore doesn't actually exist. That's like my setting location
Right.
is for the fantasy world part. So it's very, very small magic. Like nobody has magic or anything like that. But we'll see. I always try and like, pick a different genre, or let's blend this genre. And I come back to fantasy every time I'm done with the novel. So it's in my blood. I can't get away from fantasy.
Yeah. Whenever you're doing someplace that's definitely out of Earth,
Hmm.
if it's not future, it's fantasy.
Yeah.
So, it fits within the genre. Sometimes there's expectations that there's, more of the magical.
Hmm.
Um, I'll debate on the side of, you know, if you've created it and it's different enough, and you're not like really, saying, and they went off to Alexandria,
Yeah.
then it sort of ties it back in.
Hmm.
Um, but anyway, I enjoy that. One of the pieces I just read through was a romantasy, and I really hadn't planned on like doing a lot of that, but it was good. So I was like, we're gonna go there. But the only thing I'm not doing right now is like sci-fi or um, Western, those kind of things. So
Hmm.
I was like, that's close enough to the fantasy. I wanted a pocket of one style before I moved into other ones as Inked Pub.
Yeah.
Um, but anyway, so that was, you know, where we went. But it sounds like your preferred genre ends up being fantasy. Do you have one that I guess historical fiction is sort of your first focus because you're sort of building off of that and then go there?
Um, I think honestly, everything always starts off fantasy, and then I start putting things in that I'm like, oh, this is historical. I think that's why fantasy is my favorite and preferred genre because it is a blend of all the genres. Like I can put mystery in it, I can put romance in it, I can put, the historic in it. Like I just throw in a little bit of razzle dazzle magic and then it's fantasy. But any kind of story that I start normally is going to start off fantasy and then it deciphers like where I want the story to go, where it starts blending and
Right.
mixing together. And some are just clear fantasy. It's only fantasy.
Yeah. Yeah. I definitely enjoy fantasy. I obviously write in a segment of it,
Hmm.
but and that makes it difficult
Hmm.
sometimes. All right, so we've got your two that are on there. Is there anything on a back burner somewhere that is eating at you to eventually start, or you got
I
any?
wouldn't say eating at me. I got some dabbles in the back of my brain for the next couple of series that I want to write, but those are taking the most forefront of them because I am currently writing them. Um,
Okay,
like as of right now, I think my yearly focus is probably going to be the Thieves of Marciere because I can probably get that done this year, the first draft at least.
nice.
And then I know I can always go back to House of Sparrows because it's so fun to dive into. And so I know I want to start with those two books and then I'll start pulling some more, creativity and imagination from the worlds that are living in my head.
Yeah, yeah. I'm sitting here talking to my invisible friends all day, so I
Yes.
totally get it. So now are these going to be standalones, or are you going to looking at going into a series with them?
So Thieves of Marciere, I definitely think that's going to be a standalone because I can wrap that up pretty well.
Okay,
And my House of Sparrows, they're all going to be standalones, but I had a I had a really good feeling of how I could do this. Like when I was little, I used to read a lot of historical fiction romance books,
okay,
and when it's taken, I'm trying to think of the word. You know how sometimes they'll be like in the 14th or the 16th century, like the what era, I guess, whichever era, it doesn't matter. But the whole population was, full of God. It's basically like Bridgerton, like the Regency
right,
era.
right,
There's like authors that can do, like Sarah McLean can really do series that are all like in the same era, same city, like they're all in London, but just different girls.
right,
Um, I was thinking of something like that for House of Rosemore because I can do one book and wrap it completely up and have no problems. But because I have six houses, which means six founding families, I can pick another person from each founding family. And in total, I could have a series collection of the Rosemore, whatever my title will be. I haven't thought of that, but let's say just say Rosemore.
right,
Um, but then like each house would be like House of Sparrows, House of blank, House of this because I have founding families.
right.
So yes, for sure they can all be standalones, but it can be in the same world, I guess.
Yeah. And the
So
fun part with that is, you're writing and sometimes you get a side character,
mhm.
that is actually really fun. And then
Yes,
later on, you're like, and people are like, I really like so and so, and you're like, I did too. Um,
yeah,
and with that, you can actually make that part of your next thing, especially if you see one that draws you or draws your readers.
Hmm.
So that's a great idea. That's a good way to sort of present that. Um, all right, so we're going to jump into. We've heard a little bit about your your work. You like
Okay.
teaching, right?
Yes.
Okay. Which I guess brought you to Oklahoma.
Uh, kind of.
Okay.
My
Okay.
family brought me to Oklahoma. Like originally came from Miami, Florida, and I just needed a break. I was running my own business in Florida, and I decided to kind of like take the slow train for a little bit and revamp my life. I was in graduate school getting my master's at the time, so it was a lot going on. So
Yeah.
I came back home to have some settled peace and quiet, and kind of hit the restart button on a few things. And so that's what brought me to Oklahoma because my mom and dad had just also moved here.
Okay.
And so I was like, well, I guess I'll go out there from Miami, Florida. And it actually turned out the best thing for me. The peace and just being able to like hit reset. I graduated with my master's. I started writing. I did the short stories. I've been publishing them, and then working on maybe pursuing my PhD as well. Started teaching. It was kind of like all the doors started opening for me, and I don't think that would have happened if I would have been still going the route that I was going in Miami, Florida. So I definitely am glad to be here in Oklahoma, which you don't probably hear a lot.
Well,
So,
not a lot, not a lot. My stepson is he just got a warrant officer, so he's doing that stuff. And I think he's gonna be in Kansas. And
mhm.
his daughter, JL, is up in New Jersey,
Mhm.
okay, with her mom. Um, and so he'd be moving to Kansas, which he's not too excited about, with his
Yeah.
present wife, who's not too excited about it. She's from Colorado. Um, and but it's like, but it becomes home, you know.
Yeah.
Um, but that's part of being Army too.
Yeah.
You don't get a lot of your choices. So what I was getting to is outside of work,
Mhm.
um, and it sounds like maybe your PhD stuff.
Yeah.
What do you do? What do you like? What do you have? I mean, it's so different from Miami that it's not like you're doing, a lot of the same scene because
No.
you got a lot of music, you got a lot of
Yeah.
festivals, all kinds of stuff going on. So what have you been doing on your other, when you're not writing and not working? What's your other stuff?
I am a big traveler. I
Okay.
love to travel, and also because I moved here and I didn't have any friends, all my friends are like everywhere else in the world. So if I do want to go see them, I have to go travel or they come here. But I love international trips too. And I think since I've been here in Oklahoma, I've been to Amsterdam, Belgium, Iceland, England, Scotland. I studied abroad last year or last summer, actually, so not that long ago at Oxford University. So I did a lot of traveling. I still do a lot of traveling. I'm going to Mexico here soon and then Tokyo and Bali in the summer.
Nice.
So I do a lot of traveling. I love to just fill my well and just gain inspiration as well. So that kind of takes up a lot of my time. When I'm not doing that, I've recently actually reached a weird phase in this life of the getting out of my late 20s into my 30s where I've started running. So I'm taking my fitness very serious, which means every Saturday I'm usually doing some type of race. Um,
Okay.
and so that's been fun. That's been keeping me going as well. And then other than that, I'm just typing away, finding writing and being in a different world.
All right. Yeah, it's definitely, important to have that diversity and being able to travel. That is huge. That is
Yes.
huge. So you imagine you got a pretty tight routine in your regular when you're doing school. It's not like you're like
Yes.
remote work where you get up in your pajamas and make your own time slots. Um, so when do you find your time to write? Is it like every day? Is it on the weekends, mornings, evenings? What's your routine for all the other writers out there that are trying to figure out how to squeeze this into their life?
Yeah.
How do you do it?
We'll take it from someone who is always going. Like my day starts at sometimes 4, but mostly 5 a.m.
Yeah.
And I don't normally get home till about like 8 on most days, 8 p.m. And then, 9, 10 if I'm really having a full day. I am a very big night owl. I love my mornings. So I don't know how I give the tops off to people that can wake up at 5 and just start writing and having cheering and chirping at the birds because it's not me. I am not a morning person. So I am a very big night owl, but I spend the majority of my time because I'm a teacher, which is great, and I have my weekends off. My weekends are usually full of writing.
Okay.
I'm writing there, especially on Sundays or Saturdays, Saturday nights. I can write all the way into 1, 2 in the morning, especially when I'm on a roll. And then honestly, because I would love to write every single day, but when I have a like winter break or the summer, yeah, I can definitely write every single day. But on a normal, like when school is in session, I don't actually usually write Monday through Friday, really,
Okay.
because I'm just too busy. Now, that's not to say I don't have amazing ideas that come to me and I scribble it down in between classes,
Right.
because that definitely happens. But normally I can bang out a good 10, 15 hours on the weekend of writing if I really sat down and did that. And I'm
Oh,
also very, very fortunate to be able to have really great critique partners. That is so important
yeah.
because we're also all over the country, but I will send a little text in the group chat. Hey, I'm writing at this time. Let's hop on. Or they're writing at this time. And we just hop on. We'll be on FaceTime, chatting it up, plotting together. And we know our stories so well because my critique partners were the same people that I had went through my master's program with to get my master's in writing popular fiction. So they know how I write. They usually know my brain process better than me because they're like, I don't think you meant to say that. And I'm like, you're right. I did it. So that's been super helpful. I cannot stress the community of writing, and that's what's most important because it really does help you write more.
It does. It does. And I've got a weekly and I've got a monthly, different groups from different, mine came from the conventions, but
Mm-hmm.
they're huge for me to be able to, they know me so well,
Yeah.
that it makes a difference. Yeah, I think it's Sanderson that discusses that the best job for an author would be a bricklayer.
Yeah.
And the reason he says this is because when you are using your brain all day long, and you're working with words and you're working with people and you're going through all that, when you get off of that, when you drop out of that, your brain wants to go into a little bit of a just amuse me kind of mindset.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas, so he used to be like an auditor at a hotel, night auditor. So he had all this time, but he wasn't really using his brain heavy. So as soon as he would get done, he might do a little bit of something there, but when he got done, his brain was ready to go.
Yeah.
That's why he's like a bricklayer is your best, and that actually comes from David Farland, which was his teacher. And it's like that's actually the best way. So I can see when you're doing school, not many hours traveling and getting to it and dealing with it. By the time you're done, you're probably not like, I really need to use my brain. You're like,
No.
you know, where can we coach for a few minutes? Because I just need out of this for a second.
Yeah. Absolutely. After teaching, especially fourth grade, because you are using your brain every second of the day. They are using theirs,
Yeah.
and you're just trying to keep it together. So at the end of the day, you have brain rot. Like there's nothing left for you at the end of the day. It's teaching fourth graders.
So now, do you get a chance to read it all?
I do. I don't know where I find the time, so I hope that's not a question because sometimes, especially if it's a good book, I will sacrifice my sleep, and I will just not sleep at night to get the book done.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I
So,
do
so
read quite a bit. Yes.
what are you reading presently?
Currently, actually, I have the books right here. Currently, I am reading The City of Brass, which is a amazing book by S.A. Chakraborty. And it's perfect because it's also it's more of an Egyptian lore as well too. I don't want to I hope readers don't come for me about this book, but it's Middle Eastern history, folklore, and culture inspired, which is perfect because I'm writing Thieves of Marseille, which is also Middle Eastern.
Yeah.
Her book is also based in Cairo, Egypt, which also mine is as well too. So it's been perfect, perfect, perfect inspiration to kind of like pick apart and see how she does some things in the different cultures and languages that she's using. Because obviously Oklahoma is no Egypt, so I need to find that inspiration somewhere.
Inspiration. Yeah.
Yeah. And then I also am reading I Medusa by Iona Gray. And I love any type of mythology, Greek, Norse, Egyptian, obviously. So those two books I really have been pouring into. And that's my latest two reads that I've been doing currently. I ended the year of 2025 with Alchemized, and I know all the readers are probably going to know that. That book destroyed me. So I'm just like, I need something a little bit more happier.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. I'm reading sort of way out my genre, but my wife knows what I like.
Hmm.
So she'll recommend books to me, and even though it's way off like my genre kind of thing, I've trust her well enough that she really does know what pleases me when I read stuff.
Yeah.
And this one is lessons in chemistry,
Okay.
and it is not what it sounds like. It is. I grew up as with a single mom,
Okay.
and she was an artist, a commercial artist. And when I grew up, um, she'd work until 11 o'clock at night. Okay. Because, she had to get home for her son, right? She worked till 11 o'clock at night, hand her work into all the guys that worked until 5 and then went home and had cocktails. Okay. And they would get the credit for her work.
Yeah.
So I grew up with that, and then not that it's changed much, but
Hmm.
there's been some movement, thank God. Um, but that's what this book is about. She is a chemist. Now she leaves, her master's. She doesn't get her PhD or a master's, I forget what it was, um, because of men and
Hmm.
everything about it, and just the way she's going through so much stuff. It's a great read. It's not real deep, but it's definitely you know something that I can relate to as far as that period of time and how people were treated. It was probably the 50s.
Okay.
um so anyway, lessons in chemistry was a
Yeah.
great time.
Hmm.
So if you're going to recommend a book from your last year of reading, not within January, but everything. Is there something you'd say is
My
a must read and why?
my last year of reading.
I know. I can sometimes I forget what I read
Yeah, there's so
until I'm
many.
talking about it.
I think the last book that I was like, I really love, I am in the last year was Rebecca Ross. I did like Alchemized. I will say that. Because it takes me a lot to get so invested where I cry over the characters.
Right.
So Alchemized was very good. It was a very dark fantasy read. And that's probably as dark as I've ever read before. So I was like, this is very scary, but accurate. So I thought that was brilliantly done. But Rebecca Ross, I love Rebecca Ross. Her Wild Reverence, I did read that. That was very good. I would always, always, always say read Rebecca Ross. She's just so heartbreakingly like her poetic um, lyrics are just absolutely good. I don't know where she gets it from, but it's absolutely beautiful every time. So I'd probably say that for my last read for the year of 2025 because that was a really good one. I liked that one.
Okay. All right. Well, we're gonna wrap it up here in a second. Is there anything you got coming on this year? I don't think you're doing a lot of conventions or festivals or anything like that yet, really.
No,
Um,
the last convention that I did was the Seattle Writing Conference last May, actually, obviously in Seattle. And I haven't done one. I'm probably not going to do one this year. There's just so much that I'm already working on. So, no conferences. My biggest goal for this year is really to get, I have a novel, Destiny or Defeat. And that one is I'm querying that and trying to get that going because I want to get that going, get it out and going. That's what I've been working on the last couple of years, not years, but writing it, yes. But it was one of my thesis novels in my master's program, so I do want to get that out and about into the world. That's one of my huge goals for this year for sure.
yeah.
Along with finishing a new first novel, whether it be Thieves of Marcier or House of Sparrows.
So, well, good luck. So, where are you pitching that right now? Your book that you're trying to get out.
So I've got a list of literary agents. I have, of course, like it'd be great to do the traditional route, but if it doesn't, I'm totally okay with indie as well. I've also pitched to Inked, and so,
Yeah,
um,
I haven't got that yet.
yeah, you have. I
Do
sent
I?
it to you.
Okay. I am so loaded right now. I'm trying to, so I'm gonna type my keyword
Yeah,
and
it's Destiny or Defeat, excuse me. Um, and so yeah, that's epic fantasy.
there we go. Yep.
Yeah, I know that you're bogged down though too, because you did tell me in your email. So I was like, okay, that's fine.
I'm like, no, wait, I would know that. And I've got a list of them, but I've gotten the last, when I do a full manuscript, it really eats me. If I'm
Yeah,
doing the three chapters, I can sort of like, I'll hit that in a couple days, but it's just got to reach its time. But when
yeah.
I do the full, I'm also writing a lot more notes.
Mm-hmm.
Because especially if I'm usually by that time, I'm pretty sure that I'm
Yeah.
enjoying it and it's about the ending. It
Yeah.
really is about the ending. Did you carry me all the way through and then give me an ending that I was like, okay, and everything, I don't assume like a lot of my style is the only style. So what but I know generally that it has to close and have this sort of, feel to it.
Mm-hmm.
And so anyway, yes, I have your stuff. I just checked.
Yay! I'm so excited, yeah, because I am excited for that. I think that's going to be a really good novel. I mean, I've invested so much into it. I spent the last like my entire that is my thesis for my master's, and so I've had so many eyes on it, and I know it's good and I believe in it so much, and it is going to be a series for sure. And I already have like my bones for book two, so I'm like, I need to get this out so I can like really start going. And I started working on my short stories really because I wanted to like continue to work on my publication record, especially
Yes,
because it's huge to just even have something. And
it is.
then if I want to teach full time, because my goal is to teach at a collegiate level. So if I want to teach like full time at at the university level and be like create a creative writing professor, I need a publication record. So that's what really got me going with my short stories.
And
But
it's
like
huge for agents too. It
yeah,
really is huge for agents because they get so much. And to just
mm-hmm.
know that, okay, so you passed a level of someone, because I mean, I get a lot of stuff that, I'm reading, in the short story and the long form stuff that is like, you got some writing to do before you get
Yeah,
there. You,
yeah,
you, you there's you got to write some more books, don't, you know, thing. So, but I can usually tell from style, and that's why, like, when I read your short and I put my little note in there, and I don't often do that.
yeah. Ah, yay!
I really don't, because it's like, but in your case, it was definitely had that sense of like, yeah, this grabbed me quick enough, and there was enough there
Mm-hmm.
that, you closed the story, right? You closed
Yeah,
the story. We had an arc, we did our whole thing, we finished the story, and I was still going, but
yeah.
they could,
There's little threads.
they could do some stuff over here, and you know, and so anyway, though, when I see something like that, I probably commented like two or three times within text,
Mm-hmm.
that is actually, something that like is really, could be, even more. Yeah,
Yeah,
but not, sometimes people will write a short thinking they're doing that, but they'll actually not give me an ending,
yeah.
and so you don't get. I'll never get
You'll
any
never.
farther there because it was like it was obviously like a first chapter, you
Mm-hmm.
know, instead of a this was a complete ending, a nice little piece. The good thing about that it was when that gets published, that's your giveaway. That's your one you throw up there for a reader magnet, and
Yeah.
you're like, take this for free, and if you like it, you'll love my story, and they
Ooh,
will,
yeah.
right? All right, I'm gonna let us go because I know we got 15 minutes worth of content here, and that's good. But thank you so much for coming on today,
Yes.
and I do hope to be chatting with you more.
Yes. Thank you so much for having me. It was such a great way to wrap up my Sunday.
All right, bye.
Bye.